Do you think there is a stigma surrounding menopause? Well, we're going to discuss it in this podcast. So listen in. This is Dr. Durst, and this is RMD Podcast, and I am here with my co-host.
Hey guys, Faraday Golombiewski, family nurse practitioner here at RevitalyzeMD. So, like Dr. Durst said, do you think there's a stigma related to menopause?
So there has been a lot of talk about that lately, all over social media and, in the media across the board. And so I happened to be on Twitter the other night, and it pops up that
It's actually called X, Deb.
Oh, this is true. Yes, I am outdated for sure. So it's X. I actually get it a little confused because I'm not the best at social media. So if I see the X or I see TikTok,
Yeah.
I kind of get them both confused. But you're right, X. So
She's getting there.
It was on X, and it was about menopause, the menopause stigma. So I wasn't sure where it was going with that. And it was a Fortune Well company that talked about a survey that was done, an Aging Well survey that was done in menopause women of greater than 2,000 women that were aged 40 to 64. And it was talking about workplace accommodation. So I wasn't sure, is this the stigma? Because you'll see JAMA opinion pieces on the stigma and how we're medicalizing menopause and making it seem like women need, hormones. So that was one stigma. So I wasn't really sure where they were going with this.
No.
But this stigma is related to support in the workplace and workplace accommodations. So what are some of your feelings as you went through this article?
So it definitely, as we get a little, let's go into the details of the article and then break down the feelings, because I think that you've got to understand the context of the article before we can really kind of break it down.
Okay. So the facts in the article are that as women get older, they are sometimes, they're still working, but they're also sometimes at the peak of their career. They are experienced, and they even have potentially lots of people working underneath them.
Yep.
But then they are having more difficulty with the job, essentially, because of symptoms of menopause, which could
brain fog, fatigue, memory, hot flashes,
not sleeping
well,
night
irritability,
sweats. Depression, anxiety.
So all of these things happen with menopause for those that are listening that don't know that those are the common side effects of menopause.
And perimenopause. So their survey actually did 40 to 64. So it could potentially also, because again, the average age of menopause is 52. And you're looking at maybe 45 to 55, like a 10-year span where you're going to transition from perimenopause to menopause. So the symptoms can be present prior to menopause or after, and that time frame can be a lot longer too. Yep. Women, yes, of course, we're still working. And of course, we're experienced, and we also can be, successful and have
and we can
hold
powerful positions and go through menopause.
Yes. So we can have vital careers and functional careers, whatever you want, whatever makes that woman happy. But why are we suddenly having a different need in the workplace related to symptoms of menopause? And what they're talking about is women not feeling supported as those symptoms happen. But that's not just in the workplace. That's across the board with the medical system.
That's all aspects of life.
Yes. Well, it's like that because, again, their doctors aren't listening to them. They're not treated. And so, of course, they're unsupported also by the medical community. And so, but in this survey in particular, because we will, of course, get off on tangents. And
yes. So I said, let's do the survey first.
But a third of women only felt slightly supported during menopause in the workplace. So a very small percentage of them, right? Yep. And some other things that they were suggesting, again, is they don't have the accommodations they feel like they should. And
so like having a fan and having a cooler room.
Or if they're not sleeping, increased days off. So these are the suggestions that are proposed in this article. So one of the examples that they gave, and just to put it in perspective, the magnitude of what we're talking about, they surveyed 2,000 women. And again, what kind of survey? Who are we surveying? You know, it
Yes.
depends. And so, but the magnitude of this is there's a 300, plus 333 million women or million people in the U.S. Approximately 168 million women in the U.S. And about a half of those are perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause.
Yep.
So we're talking like 75,
Yep. I think that
70.
was 75 million
Yeah. So we're talking about a huge
that are in that
amount of women.
that age that this study is talking about that can fit that age.
Yes. So that is huge, right?
Yep.
So we're talking about,
A large portion of our population.
yes. And so really workplace accommodations is fixing the root cause, which is a hormonal decline with symptoms related to it. And so when they give you an example, and the average age is 52, so yes, you're still working. And so if you think about the example that they gave in the article, and we will link the article for you to take a look at this yourself, and even the survey was done, just to be completely transparent, by Hello Bonafide, but that is actually a supplement company that is addressing more natural ways to treat menopause. So I'm sure there's like a little, kind of twist and perspective there.
Yes.
To do it more naturally, and then to also support them in different ways more naturally. And so, but if we're looking, they gave an example of wheelchair. So if you were in a wheelchair, that you should have increased accommodations and accessibility, and absolutely 1,000%.
Absolutely.
That is true.
We 100% agree with that.
But if as a medical system, we didn't treat why you were in a wheelchair,
Or try to treat, or even ask the questions of why we're in a wheelchair, or how we
Yes.
can prevent you being in a wheelchair,
yes,
then we failed.
then we failed. Would you find that acceptable from our medical system and our physicians and providers if we didn't prevent you from being in the wheelchair,
Or try to prevent you from being in a wheelchair.
or try to prevent you?
Or treat you to prevent further decline.
Yes.
Or therapy to help maintain muscle so that you don't have atrophy.
Yeah.
Or pain.
So instead, we are noticing that somebody has a functional decline. We put them in a wheelchair, but we just make sure that we have accommodations for the wheelchair. Again, maddening that the root cause of being in the wheelchair
Is
would need to be
100% going
addressed.
to be addressed by the medical community.
So that is just, again, comparing their examples to what that comparison would be like with a woman in menopause.
So we have 75 million women in perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause with, there are some varying things there. One report saying 100 million a year going into menopause. Another one saying 6,000 a day going in, which is more like 2 million women a year going into menopause.
Yeah.
So this is a lot of women experiencing this. And instead of saying, hey, let's get to the root cause and help the symptoms and prevent or transition, let's give you a fan and let's give you more days off and let's hinder your growth in your employment. Let's hinder economic growth. Let's hinder.
So get to that point. Yes, there is again, the cost.
Right?
So the medical
economic cost.
Yes. So there is a significant number attached to that. So an economic cost, and again, there's lots of articles that state it, 1.8 billion a year in lost work time in the U.S. alone, because women are missing work because of
menopause
symptoms or
and this is not
perimenopause.
to downplay menopause symptoms or menopausal symptoms. We are not downplaying
we're
menopause.
actually doing
we are
the
not
opposite.
And I just want to make sure that it's very vastly clear. We know that these symptoms are real.
Oh, I think
there are
it's
some
clear.
people at this table that have personally experienced it.
It is. Well, thanks for pointing that out. But perimenopause included. Girl.
I know.
Right.
I'm on that list
So,
too.
I know.
But so we're
did
not
we have to make
downplaying.
it personal?
But we're not downplaying. This is personal to us as well.
So the bottom line is that we're clearly we're not downplaying. What we're trying to say is we need to address menopause. We need to educate patient. We need to educate the physicians and the medical system on how to treat women with these symptoms, because in 2002, when they ended menopausal treatments, because of the World Health Initiative, again, we knew
The Women's
hormones and Women's Health Initiative, like the WHI, basically we did that. We knew that even synthetic hormones were controlling symptoms.
Yeah.
So we started to look at the safety. And then fast forward 5 years into it, they come out with, again, misinformation related to the study and shut down hormone treatment for women since 2002 with no change. And now we still aren't treating them, which is a huge disservice to women. We've been completely left behind. We have been given false information. We're not offered treatments. And we
There
see it
is an economic
every
cost.
single day. Like every single day, it is women in front of us that have not been listened to by their primary care doctors, their GYN doctors, and tearful, right? And so we need to educate.
Every day, the women that say, I am not being heard.
Yeah.
This is outside of workplace. This is, I'm going to a medical professional asking for help and I'm getting nothing. We hear that all the time.
So we need to medicate, or yeah, we do need to medicate. Maybe we need to medicate the physician. Like we need to have our medical system more educated on the symptoms related to perimenopause and menopause, and educate patients that there are solutions that exist. So we are
go
not
back to
downplaying.
that
We're quite
cost,
the
though.
opposite. So yes.
Go back to that cost.
So 1.8 billion lost work per year in the U.S. Cost because of symptoms that are going untreated by our medical system, and then projected to be about 27 billion or right around there of lost work and medical expenses.
Yeah.
27 billion.
That is such a huge number for something that we are capable and able to treat.
I would go one step
You're going to go further. I know.
Well, just to a very blatant, we have 75 million women in the U.S. with maybe so right around there. So say 70 million with a condition that's treatable, effective, and safe. And
that we're not doing.
So we'll just
turning
end it with
into
that.
$27 billion.
And that's just cost related to things that are actually seen, right? What about the women that are suffering in silence and still going to work and not talking about it? And again, aren't receiving any treatment. So those aren't even calculated there.
Yep.
But the bottom line is, when do you have a condition as present as that? Like, again, a life-changing, symptomatic, happening.
It's a life event.
Transition in a woman's life that is, ignored and not treated. So
Or
again,
not treated well. There are some out there that are treating.
Correct. There are some out there that are treating well.
And there are some out there that are treating well. So I don't want to negate
numbers
that.
of both.
But yes.
So small numbers, as we know, because this has become a more common conversation on social media, on the internet, all over the place. And it should be. These are conversations we need to have. But then we still see major medical journals doubling down on the unsafety or the safety profile of hormones. So I'm not sure why we're still doubling down on that at this day and age. It's 2024. We have established the safety. They're effective, and we need to change how we educate our physicians on how to address it going forward.
That's it.
We can't ignore
because when
75 million women.
We're just going to do fans in cool rooms, designate an executive as a menopause point person. That makes my head spin.
This doesn't need to go to print.
I mean, that blows my mind.
Yeah.
We're going to give you more hours off, flexible locations, flexible hours. That's great. And, accommodations are great, right? When needed. But why are we not addressing the core root issue?
Yeah.
Because many of the women that we see that we treat, when they are balanced and their hormones are balanced and replaced, and we're doing hormone replacement therapy, they don't need a cool room. They don't need a fan. They don't need time off. They're able to continue to excel in their career, doing what they love and doing it well.
I think if we just accommodate a woman's choice on safe and effective treatments and offer them and let her make a informed decision to use them.
Along with,
Those are good accommodations.
that's a great, absolutely.
Those are good.
And that decision made with a healthcare professional to go over their history and to see if it's an appropriate treatment for them or not.
Yeah. So we do feel strongly about this. This is just an article that popped up, but again, you'll hear, us talk. And if you have any articles, you have any questions, you have great points of view, because I think that women are getting much more vocal about this. Please drop it.
educating themselves.
Yes. And I love this. I love to see that there is traction related to the treatment of symptoms for women in perimenopause and menopause. So thank you all for, even the physicians that are really leading the way, or any providers that are on social media that are talking about it. We love it. We love
Or at
what
least
you're doing.
opening the conversations and not shutting women down.
Yes. Yeah. So leave the comments. Let us know what you think, because again, we are willing to deep dive into anything wellness or sexual wellness.